If you've ever worked the night shift alone in a forest, you know silence can be louder than any scream. My name's Daniel Price. I was a forest ranger stationed deep inside the Redwood National Forest, and I swear that watchtower I was assigned to, it watched me back. I got transferred to the Redwood National Forest last year. It was supposed to be a peaceful duty, just routine night patrols, logging campfires, checking wildlife cameras, and reporting weather conditions. The tower I was stationed in stood about 70 feet high, an old wooden structure built sometime in the 1950s. Locals called it Tower 19. No one liked being assigned there. They said radio signals always cut off, batteries drained faster, and sometimes people heard voices from the tree line. But I didn't believe in any of that. I was ex-military, disciplined, and logical. I thought loneliness made people hear things that weren't there. The first night was calm. The air smelled like pine and rain. The forest below looked endless, a dark ocean of trees moving in the wind. I checked my logbook, then adjusted the tower's floodlight and the radio. Around midnight, I switched on the CCTV monitor. 4 grainy black and white feeds showing the base of the tower and the surrounding forest. Everything looked fine until one of the cameras flickered. For a split second, I saw what looked like a person standing under the tower. No movement, just that dark silhouette, still as a statue. When I blinked, it was gone. I thought it was a glitch, but then the motion sensor alarm buzzed. Just once, not long enough to trigger a report, but enough to make my heart skip. I scanned the forest through my binoculars. Nothing, no sound, just that heavy silence pressing against my ears. At 1:27 a.m., the radio crackled. Tower 19, do you copy? This is Tower 14. It was Ranger Jeff, about 10 miles south of me. Yeah, I'm here, I replied. Everything good your side? Copy that. Just checking in, he said. Heard something strange on the open channel, like someone whispering your name. I froze. Are you sure? I asked. Yeah, came through static. Could be a bleed from another frequency, but it sounded close, real close. The channel went dead after that. I turned off the radio and sat back, trying to shake it off. Maybe it was interference. Maybe I was just tired. But for the rest of that night, I couldn't stop feeling like someone was standing right behind me, just out of sight. Next night, I went back up the tower around 6 p.m. Sunset hit the forest like blood dripping through the trees. By 8 p.m., fog rolled in, thick, heavy, almost alive. I made coffee and tried to distract myself with the old ranger logs. One entry caught my eye, dated August 1993. Something's wrong with Tower 19. The forest looks different from up here. I swear I saw myself walking below the tower. I laughed nervously at first until I remembered what I'd seen on the camera last night. At 10:15 p.m., the wind picked up. The whole tower creaked like it was breathing. I turned to the window, and for half a second, I saw something reflected in the glass. A face right behind me. When I spun around, nothing. Just the soft hum of the generator and the red light blinking on the CCTV monitor. Later that night, while writing my report, I heard it. Footsteps, slow, crunching, coming from below the tower. I turned the floodlight on. The ground lit up white, but there was nothing there. Then, over the radio, Daniel. The voice was low, wet, like someone speaking through a mouth full of water. Daniel, look outside. I froze. I didn't answer. The tower door downstairs, click. It was locked from inside, but I swear I heard it move. I looked back at the CCTV feed. Camera 3, the one facing north, was static again. But in the static, I saw it. Myself, standing at the base of the tower, looking up. The image was shaky, distorted, but it was me. Same jacket, same hat, same flashlight in hand. I checked the mirror. I was sitting right there, watching. The figure on the monitor raised its hand and waved. The screen went black. The radio screamed with white noise. My ears rang. Then I heard a final whisper, deep almost inside my head. "You're not supposed to look down." I shut the radio off, heart pounding like a hammer. Outside, the wind stopped. The forest went completely silent. No animals, no crickets, no wind, just the slow creaking of the tower wood and my own breath echoing too loud in the dark. That was the first night I realized maybe this tower wasn't meant to watch the forest. Maybe it was meant to keep something inside.
When morning finally came, I climbed down the tower with shaking hands. The sunlight should have made me feel safe, but it didn't. The forest was too still. Even the birds didn't sound right, like their songs were echoing through water. I checked the ground where I'd seen that figure on the CCTV feed. There were footprints, but not mine. Bare feet, long, narrow, and deep in the mud, like someone had been standing there for hours. I followed them a few steps, but they just stopped, like the person vanished mid-stride. When I got back to the base, the tower door was open. I was sure I'd locked it the night before. Inside, the air smelled wrong, metallic, like rust and rain. My thermos was still half full on the desk upstairs, but the cup next to it was empty. Someone had been here. That afternoon, I radioed HQ and told them about the intruder signs. They told me to log it and keep watch. They'd send someone up in a few days, but I could hear the hesitation in their voice, like they didn't really believe me. That night, I sat in the tower again, staring at the cameras. It was quiet, too quiet. Then the power flickered. The generator hiccuped twice, and the CCTV feeds went to static. All except one. Camera 1, facing east, showed something glowing faintly among the trees. At first, I thought it was a campfire, but the light wasn't orange. It was white, cold, and it wasn't still. It moved, slowly, circling the tower. Around 1 a.m., I heard footsteps again, this time clear as day, climbing the wooden stairs outside. I grabbed my flashlight and aimed it down through the window. Nobody, but the steps kept coming. Thump, thump, thump. Up the stairs, one slow step at a time. Then they stopped, right outside the tower door. I didn't breathe, didn't move. The air felt charged, like lightning hits. The doorknob turned once, twice, then knock. 3 slow knocks. I didn't answer. The knocks came again, harder this time, shaking the door. Then silence. When I looked at the CCTV again, camera 4, the one above the door, showed me standing outside the tower, knocking. I turned the floodlight on in panic. The image vanished. The next morning, I decided to check the CCTV recordings. Each camera had its own tape, old school system, still using VHS. When I played the footage from last night, I noticed something wrong. Every time I appeared on screen, there was a delay, like my movements weren't synced. I'd raise my hand, and the screen would show it half a second later. Then, at timestamp 2:16 a.m., the feed froze. A figure appeared on the stairs, half hidden in fog. It looked like me, but the face, it was stretched, pale, wrong. The eyes were too wide, the mouth slightly open, like someone halfway through a scream. Then the figure looked straight into the camera and smiled. Right before the screen cut to black, I rewound it 5 times. Same thing, the smile, the cut. But when I checked the window reflection behind me, I realized something. The reflection wasn't smiling. It was watching me.
The day before my final night felt wrong from the start. The sun looked dull, like the sky itself was tired of shining. Every metal surface on the tower, my flashlight, the radio antenna, felt warm, pulsing under my fingers, almost alive. HQ still hadn't sent anyone. I'd stopped trying the radio. I just kept writing in the logbook, page after page, hoping somebody would find it. Around 6 p.m., I noticed the forest had gone gray. Not dark, gray, like the color had drained from everything. Even my own hands looked faded. I thought maybe sleep deprivation was getting to me. But then I looked down. There were 5 figures standing at the base of the tower now, each one taller than before, each one wearing my uniform. To prove I wasn't losing it, I decided to record. I set my phone on the desk, hit record, and said, "Ranger Daniel Price, Tower 19, third night of incident activity." activity. Visual contact confirmed. Multiple subjects below tower. All look identical to me. When I played it back, my voice sounded distant, and behind it, another voice whispered, "Don't call them subjects." I dropped the phone. It slid under the desk. When I bent down to grab it, I noticed scratch marks under the wood. Dozens of them. Each one read the same thing carved deep. "Stay up." Around 10 p.m., footsteps echoed on the roof. That was impossible. The tower's roof was sealed by a trap door that opened from inside. I aimed my flashlight up. Dust rained down, followed by 3 soft knocks on the hatch above me. I froze. "Who's there?" No answer. Just another knock, knock, knock. Then a low breath, inches from the ceiling. "We built this place to keep you in." The hatch hinges squealed. I backed away, pointing the light straight up, and saw a hand slide through the crack. Pale, long-fingered, nails like glass. I fired my flare gun. The light burst red through the cabin, and the hand vanished, but the roof boards kept moving, as if something huge was breathing above me. I decided to get out. Packed a flashlight, flare gun, logbook, everything I could carry. When I reached the stairs, fog had already swallowed the forest. Every step I took down sounded muffled, wrong. Halfway down, I looked back up and saw someone standing in the tower window, looking down at me. It was me. He or it lifted the flare gun and pointed it at me. I ducked, fell the last few steps, hit the ground hard. When I looked up again, the tower's floodlight turned on by itself and illuminated the figures standing around me. There weren't 5 anymore. There were dozens, all wearing ranger uniforms, all with my face. They moved closer, slow and silent, eyes empty. The fog pulsed like a heartbeat. Through it, I heard the tower groan, its wood twisted, bending downward, the structure reshaping itself into something not built by men. The tower was breathing. Every beam, every nail, it was alive. Then I understood. The tower wasn't watching the forest. It was feeding on those who stared into that endless dark. Every ranger who stared into that endless dark became part of it. Their shapes, their memories, trapped inside the walls, watching the next one arrive. I ran back up, 2 steps at a time. The door slammed behind me, though no one touched it. The radio flickered on by itself, whispering with overlapping voices, mine among them. "Tower 19, reporting. I can't get out. Please don't assign anyone here." Then static. Then another voice, calm, official. "Copy that, Tower 19. Relief Ranger scheduled for arrival tomorrow night." I screamed into the mic, "No, don't send them. It won't let you leave." But the channel had already gone dead. The floorboards started splitting, light bleeding through the cracks, white, blinding. The same light I'd seen on the CCTV. Everything shook. The tower bent inward, groaning like it was closing its ribs around me. I dropped the recorder. The last thing it captured was my own voice whispering, "If you ever come to Redwood National Forest, don't look at Tower 19. It's already looking at you." Epilogue. Aftermath. 2 weeks later, a search team found the tower empty. The stairs were rotted through, as if they hadn't been used in decades. Inside, they found one thing on the desk, a fresh logbook. The first entry was dated the day they found it. Ranger Daniel Price, reporting for night duty at Tower 19.